I think I might be coming in right where your last speaker left off. These are questions about how students are using text-based AI like ChatGPT to write, to cheat. We have to decide what is cheating. And I'm especially interested in how students are using ChatGPT as a support for their thinking. And today I want to share with you some of the research I've been doing with students, secondary students who use ChatGPT, some for the first time, some who are very experienced. I want to share with you what they wrote, the kinds of questions they asked ChatGPT, and what kinds of suggestions they took up from ChatGPT afterwards. So far, so good?
So far, so good.
Okay, great.
Всё хорошо.
I'll share my screen. And I think you can see I'm having it's the slides that I'm using
Да,
here.
Сара, видим, но если есть возможность развернуть презентацию на полный экран.
It would be nice if you go full screen with this presentation, please.
Yes, I'm trying to, but for some reason, I'm having trouble doing that. So
F5 поможет.
it's just
What
gonna
if you click F5?
Yep, I don't know why, but when I'm sharing with you.
Нет ничего страшного, я думаю, что мы будем так проще отслеживать все слайды, которые будут следующие.
Well, maybe it's okay this way as well.
Here we go. Got
Here
it.
we go.
Okay. Good morning. I mean, good evening. All right. So the question of the moment is when it comes to text-based AI like ChatGPT, how will students learn to write now that we have this thing? Is the teaching of writing over? What can we do with this tool to actually support students and still help them learn the principles of good writing and good thinking? You can see that there have been many discussions of ChatGPT and the concerns, especially that teachers have about what ChatGPT will do to their teaching and to students' learning. The end of high school English in the US, this has been a constant refrain. Professors saying that they feel abject terror. Teachers on alert for cheating, robots doing homework for lazy students. These are the concerns. And I think one of the reasons that we as teachers feel so concerned about what ChatGPT can do is because we sometimes forget that writing is not just an in the head, individualized activity. Writing is networked, it's distributed, it's social. So there are already, as I'm sure you've been thinking about, many tools that writers already use to distribute their thinking, to distribute the resources that they use when they are generating ideas and clarifying ideas. And one question I always like to ask myself is, how different is this new tool from, number one, tools that we already have, and number two, from people? How different would it be if I went to my mother and said, can you help me with some ideas for this essay? What would we think about that as compared to me going to ChatGPT and saying, can you give me some ideas for this essay? To my mind, we would be happy for a student to go to their parents or their friends and say, let's talk about an essay, help me with some ideas. But we're nervous about the student going to ChatGPT. And I want to suggest that maybe the difference isn't so large, and maybe we can be a little optimistic about the resources that ChatGPT can bring. If people are adding comments to the chat, just want to let you know I cannot see them right now. So just feel free to jump in if there are questions that are relevant to right now. Okay, so what are real students in real classrooms doing with ChatGPT? That is the question I wanted to pursue. So I moved to some ongoing research in a high school near where I work at Standford University in California in the US. And I met with just 12 students from a local school. It's a secondary school, so they are adolescents. All of them will be first generation college students. So they will be the first in their families to go to university. You can see their demographics. In the US, we are paying attention to race, ethnicity, and their language skills. Many of them come from multilingual families and speak one language at home and one language in school, as many of you do. And they had a range of writing skills, these students, from fairly sophisticated to really struggling with basic writing. So what did students ask ChatGPT to do when they were given some academic essay prompts? And what did they take up from ChatGPT? How did students take up ChatGPT's responses to their prompts? I'm going to give you an example of a school assignment that students used when they first worked with ChatGPT. This is a standard academic assignment. This is imagine that the school administration is considering a new mascot, a new animal or other symbol to represent Eastside High School. They are considering these three mascots or representations: redwood trees, seals, the animal, and warriors. The school administration asks you to submit your arguments for and against each of these mascots. I'm just reading the prompt here. Alternatively, you can suggest your own idea. In your argument, the administration asks you to include the following: an opening that sets the stage for your argument, your claim about the mascot that best represents Eastside School, explanation and specific examples that support your claims, your claim about why each of the other choices do not best represent Eastside, and so on. So here, this is the kind of prompt that many high school students in the US might get when they are working on an academic essay. So we created this very similar prompt to see what students would do with it, what they would ask ChatGPT for, and how ChatGPT would respond. The only real instruction we gave them regarding ChatGPT was that they can use it any way they want, for any help they want, except for copying and pasting for writing the entire essay. We know that kids can do that with ChatGPT. What we're interested in is when they're not simply copying and pasting, what are they asking ChatGPT to do, and what are they taking up from ChatGPT? I'm going to stop for just a minute to look at the chat, just to make sure there's nothing I'm missing. And there's a lot I'm missing, but it's in Russian. So we'll wait till the end. Okay. Here's some of the ways that we began to understand how students are taking up ChatGPT and what they're asking. First, we screencasted all of their work. So we're recording their actions on screen. I can see their mouse moving, and we can hear their voices. This way, we can collect both their questions to ChatGPT and ChatGPT's responses. And when they're writing together, we ask them to write in pairs. We can hear them talking to one another and talking about what they think of ChatGPT. We also collected all of the essays that they wrote when they used ChatGPT. We also did interviews with students. And here you can see an example of an interview that we did after the students wrote with ChatGPT. Here we're asking, what were you taught about good writing? And first we hear a student saying, oh yeah, I think ChatGPT is a better writer than me. And then pulling back a little bit and saying, well, wait a minute, ChatGPT is articulate, but it's not creative. It's not creative like a human being can be creative. So in that way, it's not a better writer than me. We have something that ChatGPT will never have. And I think that's important for us to know, that students recognize that there's a difference between the kind of human creativity that students have and what ChatGPT can offer. Okay, so what happened? What did students ask ChatGPT? Here's some examples. They asked in total, across all of the writing that they did, about 100 prompts to ChatGPT. And we coded these prompts into 3 big buckets. First, questions and prompts related to planning their writing. For example, anything that helped them when they were setting their goals for writing, when they're generating ideas, like what do warriors symbolize? We also saw a number of prompts that were related to the actual writing of an essay. So this is when students are asking ChatGPT to give them specific sentences that they might actually cut and paste to use in their own arguments. And then finally, we saw students asking ChatGPT to evaluate their work, to help them modify, to revise, to edit. For example, can you proofread this paragraph? Here's what we found preliminarily. First, let me just move this so you can see. Out of all of the 100 prompts that students asked of ChatGPT, we coded them in one or more of those categories I just showed you. And we found that almost all of students' prompts to ChatGPT, or a good majority, about 80%, were for planning. They were questions about ideas, generating ideas for their essays, asking about what warriors symbolize, why trees would be a good mascot or a bad mascot, essentially things you could ask Google. Instead, they're using ChatGPT. We also noticed that a very few of students' requests were for actual sentences, actual pieces of writing that they might use in their own work. And then finally, there were about 30% of requests included some kind of request for help with editing, with proofreading. And what I'd like to do is show you an example of 2 students working with ChatGPT, talking with one another and looking at what ChatGPT offered them. In this case, they're writing about a school mascot, and they've decided that they want to have a husky, a kind of dog, be their school mascot. And this is true. They want this because they have a dog at their school. One of the teachers has a dog that she brings to school with her sometimes, and the dog, it's California, so the dog just roams the hallways. So Daisy, one of the students, says, oh, I was thinking we could go with an animal at Eastside at our high school. And Chloe, her friend, says, yes, Dakota, that's the dog. He's been here the longest. And now I'm going to attempt to share with you a video so that you can kind of hear the students talking to ChatGPT and responding. But to do that, okay, here we go, I think. Let's give this a try. Nope. Okay, I'm gonna move to not full screen for a second. And see if the magical videos are there. Okay, hold on 1 second while I get our videos. And please talk amongst yourselves while I do that. All right, well, sorry to say that these videos are not coming up. Now you can see all of my computer. Yep, I'm sorry.
Нет, Сара, мы не видим презентацию.
No, we do not see your computer. We can see the presentation, but not on the full screen.
Okay.
And we can see that this had to be a video that cannot be launched. So no worries, no worries.
Okay, great. Thanks, I appreciate it. Okay, so what I'll tell you, essentially what they do is they ask ChatGPT what would make a good mascot, and specifically once they've decided on the husky, the dog, they then say, I'll show you. Hold on, got to get back to the slideshow. Okay. They then say, here's a little example of their dialogue. Daisy says, okay, I'm thinking we can go with an animal at Eastside. And Chloe says, yes, Dakota, the dog, he's been here for a long time. Oh, we can ask ChatGPT, what do huskies symbolize? And so they ask ChatGPT, they type in, what do huskies symbolize? Then they predict what ChatGPT will say. They say, oh, it's going to say hard work. And Daisy will say, because huskies are hardworking. Well, Dakota is not hardworking, but it's okay. We'll go with it. So then ChatGPT responds, huskies symbolize strength, stamina, loyalty, intelligence, independence, and connection to nature. They are often thought of as a symbol of the Arctic and the wilderness. In some cultures, huskies hold spiritual significance for their ability to navigate the harsh environments of the North. And Daisy reads what ChatGPT has written, and she says, okay, husky symbolize strength, stamina, loyalty, intelligence, independence, boom, meaning this is exactly what I think the huskies symbolize. This is great. And then Chloe says, I don't think the rest of this stuff is important. So I'm interested in this dialogue for a couple of reasons. And here is part of the reason I'm feeling optimistic about ChatGPT. First, they ask ChatGPT not give me a claim as the assignment asks them, or give me evidence as the assignment asks them to do, but instead they think about the symbolic value of this dog. Our prompt, our assignment did not ask them to think about symbols. The prompt asked them to write an argument. And instead, the students themselves decided that a symbolic representation was something worth asking about. So this is planning, but it is planning in which the student is doing some thinking and some creative considering on their own, not simply dumping everything over to ChatGPT. Likewise, when the student reads what ChatGPT has offered, they evaluate and they say, these qualities on the top here, they say, boom, these are exactly what we want. And then they note that the other information in the ChatGPT output is not important to them. So again, they're not simply mindlessly cutting and pasting or copying or paraphrasing. They are deciding that some of what ChatGPT has given them is salient, is worth taking up, and some is not. And that kind of evaluation of one's reading is a lot of what we hope students will be able to do when they read any text. What is salient to my question? What is not salient or relevant to my question? So here's what Chloe and Daisy first wrote about the mascot of the husky. And I will just let you take a look. I will read and just don't listen if it's annoying to read the Russian and listen to the English at the same time. They write, just one of the reasons that Eastside is special is that it is a dog-friendly campus. We feel this is now part of the Eastside culture, and it should be reflected in the mascot. Most notably, the dog who has been here the longest, Rocky, the husky, they changed the name. At Eastside, we pride ourselves in being intelligent, loyal, strong, and independent. We believe that a husky would be a felicitous fit because they also represent this same quality. And I'll just stop here and say that the word felicitous is a word that you would rarely use in English. Students don't use this word. They learned this word from ChatGPT because they asked ChatGPT, can you give me a few other words for suitable? And ChatGPT spit out 10 words, 10 synonyms, and the students found the word felicitous. They asked ChatGPT, what does felicitous mean? ChatGPT told them, delightful. They asked ChatGPT how to pronounce felicitous, and then they asked ChatGPT to use the word in a sentence. Having done these three things, they now felt comfortable enough with this word to use it, and they enjoyed inserting this new fancy word into their argument. They laughed about it. All right, second paragraph. Although the other options can be suitable for other schools, they really don't align with ours. First off, a redwood tree, terrible mascot. No hate to Standford University. The Standford University mascot is a redwood tree. No hate to Stanford, they make it work, but in a high school environment, this could weaken school pride. Come on, what high schoolers would want to say, go trees, a hippie? Additionally, they don't truly represent as much of our desired qualities as Eastside students. All right, so that's their draft. Now let's take a look at how they evaluated their draft. First, so we're asking, what did students use from ChatGPT? How much did students take up from ChatGPT's suggestions? That's what we're focusing on right now. How much did students, first, how much did they copy from ChatGPT? Did they take whole sentences? Did they take whole paragraphs? No, they didn't. In fact, we did an analysis and looked at all of the words that ChatGPT used and all of the words that students used in their draft. And we found that only 17% of the words in ChatGPT output showed up in students' writing. And those include words like, as you see, strength, loyalty, intelligence, independence. Big ticket concepts they borrowed or they used from ChatGPT to their own drafts. The rest of the writing is their own. All right, when they took up ChatGPT's writing and suggestions, how did they do it? How did students respond to ChatGPT's edits of their work? Here's one of the things that Chloe asked ChatGPT to do. They said, this is an argument on why we should change the school mascot to Huskies. Can you edit for grammar and coherency? Then they put in their paragraph and asked ChatGPT to edit it. It looks like this. Here's ChatGPT's edit of their work. One of the things that sets Eastside apart is our dog-friendly campus, and we believe this should be reflected in the school's mascot. For many of us, the longest-standing dog on campus is Helen's Husky, Dakota. Eastside prides itself on being intelligent, strong, loyal, and independent, and we believe that Huskies embody these same qualities. At this point, the students stopped and said, oh my gosh, whoops, well, that's gone. Oh, here it is. All right. For some reason, let's give it a go.
One of the things that sets Eastside apart is our dog-friendly campus, and we believe that this should be reflected in the school's mascot. For many of us, the long-standing dog on campus is Helen's Husky, Dakota. Oh my gosh, this is way better. Dang. Eastside prides itself on being intelligent, strong, loyal, and independent, and we believe that Huskies embody these same qualities. That's valid. That's valid. While other mascots may be suitable for other schools, they do not align with the values and qualities we have as Eastside students. The idea of a redwood tree as a mascot seems terrible and would be inappropriate for a high
It took
school
out all your
setting.
personality, though.
I know.
It took out our hippie? No, it took out the hippie.
Okay, I like the introduction for this.
Hmm.
So I think we could switch it because it's saying the same thing, but it's like
It's more like
worded better.
yeah.
Yeah, that was lame.
The third option of words may sound strong, but may be seen as glorifying violence against inclusive and accepting nature. I like that sentence.
Mhm.
We'd also want to enforce the importance of being sensitive towards all cultural groups. Like, yes, but we already said that. Overall,
Okay, so that is one example of how students responded when ChatGPT edited their work. Now, what ChatGPT did with their work in the first paragraph, for example, here, I'll get back to the slides so you can see it. When we have to ask ourselves, why did the students like ChatGPT's paragraph so much better? Is it the nature of the language, which is more academic, kind of fancier? Is it the syntax or the structure of the sentences? Because the concepts are pretty much the same. This is one of the things I think when we are working with students, when we are teaching them, what we really want to do is put a student's draft and a ChatGPT edit of that draft together so that students can analyze what are the differences between what I wrote and what ChatGPT is offering. If I think ChatGPT is better, why is that? What about the sentence structure? What about the vocabulary? What about the relationship between clauses do I think is better? And what about the diction, the tone? And in this way, students will begin to engage with the very aspects of the language arts that we teachers hope they will engage in. Likewise, another important element of what's happening here with these students is that you can see that they were upset that in the second paragraph of ChatGPT's edit, ChatGPT, they said, took out all of our personality. Oh, they're going to make us do that again. Hold on. I'm just going to pull that away so we can move on here. Okay. You can see they said first paragraph way better, but second paragraph, they said, oh no, they took out all of our personality. And in fact, in my interviews with students later, they often said that ChatGPT's version of their own writing was robotic, too automatic, or sounded distant from the kind of writing that the students themselves wanted to do. To me, this is very exciting. They recognize something here that many students do not know about themselves, and that is that they actually have a style, they have a personality when they write. Something like ChatGPT can help students see what their actual writing style and voice is. Without a comparison like this, that each student can do for themselves, they might not have recognized the difference between their own spirited writing and the kind of flat version of the writing that ChatGPT offered them. So this to me is exciting. Again, ChatGPT offers a contrasting case that students can use to begin to understand their own writing better. I'll finish here just by saying again that writing is social, it's distributed, and I think ChatGPT can be a part of that social distributed network. I'm feeling optimistic about the ways that we as teachers can use ChatGPT transparently in the classroom, because I think that these tools like ChatGPT can offer students a way of being coached. They can offer an editor. They can use ChatGPT as a muse to give them ideas. We're already doing this in many aspects of our lives when we write. Now, students who don't have human resources at home, if they have access to a computer and the internet, may now have some of the resources that others already have. Also, I think most importantly, ChatGPT can help students understand that when it comes to writing, there's more than one way to produce, to create. Many students think there's just one way. I don't even know what it is. The teacher will tell me. And in that way, they remain pretty constrained in their writing. ChatGPT could offer students 5 different versions of what the student wants to say. And it's the student's job to begin to figure out why they like what they like. And then that's the teacher's job to help students recognize the differences between each of those options and to begin to explore the language arts through comparing those options. Finally, students can be supported perhaps in their reading skills as much as in their writing, because they are conversing with ChatGPT just as they do when they text on their phones. And ChatGPT often offers them a lot to read. So I'm feeling maybe a little bit of hope that they'll even do a little more reading, at least than they do in the US. So I'll stop there, and I'll stop sharing my screen and invite your thoughts and your questions as teachers and scholars about this kind of text-based AI.